Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at a very spicy Pokemon for the Open Master League. And this Pokemon is going to be Tapu Koko. I built this Pokemon last season and had a lot of fun playing this Pokemon, and I wanted to try it out again and also still actually had a lot of fun with this. We were actually really positive with this Pokemon, which is kind of wild. Of course, mainly with the Pokemon around, it's just a very decent team. You're going to have the Groudon and the Dialga. It's just one of my favorite cores, but the Tapu Koko is very special because this Pokemon is going to be able to completely hard counter Lugia. You're going to be able to resist every move of this Pokemon while doing super effective damage back, which is really cool, but also Tapu Koko is a very squishy Pokemon. So let's take a look on what we can do with this team here today. We're going to encounter a Mewtwo in the lead, a Pokemon that definitely going to be a little bit tricky for us to play against. I don't really like to play against Mewtwo, but we can still go for Impressive Blade. Gonna get a shield I can swap out into my Dialga, and they're going to most likely force a shield from me, but no, they would decide to swap into the MEWeedle. I could have went for the Iron Head earlier on already, which would have been super beneficial for us, but like this, we're still going to be able to most likely get another shield or switch advantage here. If the opponent gonna go for a charge move right now, it's going to be the Rock Slide. So now maybe we're actually going to be in range for a superpower, but we can go ahead and go for our Draco Meteor beforehand and knock them out, which is amazing. Because like this, we're going to still keep our Dialga around with a lot of health left, and we might see even the final Pokemon, which is going to be the Reshiram. And we can still reach the Precipice Blade here, but I'm going to have to shield up the move for that to hit. So most likely what the opponent going to do here right now is going to go ahead and shield this move up, and now they can swap out most likely into their Mewtwo again against our Dialga, which is coming in right now. But now I can actually swap into my Tapu Koko, and Tapu Koko going to charge up to the moves fairly fast. We can double resist the fast move of the opponent, and in comes now the Mewtwo, but this was super unfortunate that they get the move off before. Side Strike hits like a truck. It's insane how squishy this Pokemon is here. This is a fully XL, by the way. It only gets to a 3600 rating. But still, our Dialga is just the better dragon here, and we're going to be able to take this game home with some Dragon Breath down. So this is going to be a good game. Tapu Koko actually would be able to learn a signature move as well, but we saw them in the code already. I think it's like called Nature's Madness, which is a fairy type move that in the main series games I think dropped the opponent's health by 50%. So most likely it's going to have like some different effect, of course, in this game here right now. But it might be interesting when this Pokemon gets a better fairy type charge move, because right now Dazzling Gleam is just not really hitting it. Dazzling Gleam just takes a little bit too long to get to and doesn't even do that much damage. So if you get something that's around like 40 to 45 energy, this would be really cool for those Pokemon, and I think it would make all the Pokemon a little bit more viable, as all Tapu is going to get the same move most likely, which would be really cool. Hopefully we're going to see this coming up maybe in the new season already, if we're going to get the movesets for this one. But here we're going to now be able to go for a full farm down against the Kyogre, but this might be an Origin Pulse, just a Surf, and we can actually farm them down, but they have Lugia in the back. And we would have liked to have our Tapu Koko against this. Horrific lead here against us. Kyogre is going to be very tricky, but they're going to swap out into their Xerneas, kind of showing me that they're most likely going to have their Zacian still lurking in the back. They're gonna go straight for the Moonblast here. We don't get the attack drop yet, which is really good for us, because usually you know my videos. If there's a Pokemon that plays Moonblast, basically I always get attack drop for this eventually, even though it's just 10% chance. Basically every video I have something with Moonblast, I usually get attack drop. But here we're going to be able to actually get 2 shields from the opponent, which is something that is really nice, as they are going to go ahead and go for a charge move here right now. Going to be the Moonblast, and we don't get the attack drop still, which is really cool to see. But now they're going to swap into their Zacian, and you know what time it is right now. It is time to sweep the opponent completely here. We can go for another Fire Punch, which is not the not going to knock them out, but they are forced to go for a charge move right now, and this will allow me to go ahead, farm them down with my Tapu Koko. And now we're going to go for a triple kill. We're gonna see the Kyogre coming in. I can go ahead and go for a Thunderbolt here right now. This is a CMP time. I'm forced to use a shield, but I will be able to shield this Surf up and gonna go for the knockout, as Thunderbolt is going to be easily enough to knock out the opponent. Bye-bye there. In comes the Xerneas. They will not be able to farm up fast enough. They can still get to one move, which is wild that they actually win CMP against me. but I will be able to go ahead and go for the Thunderbolt in order to knock out the opponent here, and this is going to be a very good game. Tapu Koko with a triple kill. Let's take a look at the next game. We're going to have the Ho-Oh against us in the lead. This is not ideal for us. This Pokemon is a hard wall for our lead, and also our Say-Swap of Dialga is not perfect against them. Let's see if they're gonna... Oh, they actually run Earthquake. Interesting to know there, as now we also know that they're going to be able to one-shot our Tapu Koko in the back with this move. But great that we shield this move up, because they don't even have to shield this move up as a Dialga, but it's definitely better to do it here right now. But like this, I'm going to have the Zacian against us. I'm going to be able to use a shield here, and I think I might be able to swap out eventually, and I'm going to try to swap out into my Tapu Koko, and there's just barely get to another charge move here, which is really annoying. But it's going to be a wild charge, still hurts a lot, but we're gonna now see the final Pokemon of the opponent, which is, weirdly enough, a Meloetta. A Meloetta fully XL here, I think. Definitely, like, the CP of Meloetta is actually kind of wild. Getting to 4,500 CP nearly here shows actually how strong this Pokemon can be. It's just very inaccessible. Sadly, my Meloetta that I have has a very, very bad IV, so I don't going to consider even building this Pokemon. But now we're going to still have to deal with the Ho-Oh here, which is not ideal for me, but I can still go for one Iron Head here. This hopefully gets the shield. It does get the shield from the opponent, and now it comes down to our good friend Groudon. Earthquake going to definitely easily knock us out, and we can now go for the Precious Blade, which is going to get the knockout against the opponent's Groudon. Can we reach the next move in time? I'm actually going to go ahead and go for the Precious Blade instead of going for the Fire Punch. This is a CMP tie, and we can say goodbye to the Meloetta here. Good game there, great for us winning this game. Let's take a look at the next one. We're going to see a Garchomp in the lead. This is going to be an interesting one right now, as we will be able to go for the Precious Blade against the opponent's Garchomp. This will do a ton of damage, and they're going to let this move go through, which is amazing for us, as we don't want to have Garchomp against our Tapu Koko in the back, as they're going to double resist, or like triple resist, the electric typing. Like this, we're going to be able to get the knockout with another Fire Punch, and in comes the Dialga. I will be able to go ahead and go for a Fire Punch bait here, is the opponent going to guarantee shield this move up, thinking that this is like my last move that I can go for, but now I can swap out now into my own Dialga, which will use a shield against the opponent's Dialga with a Draco Meteor coming through, and sadly, they are running the Metagross in the back. And this is going to be a little bit of an awkward one, because I am forced to kinda go ahead and go for the Iron Head here right now. And we're going to have to use a shield just in case this is an Earthquake, and it is an Earthquake. So we are in a very tough spot right now, but I can try to get the shield from the opponent with another Iron Head, and this also turns down the switch clock a little bit, and I can swap out and just barely reach the Fire Punch. With 1 HP in the dream, our Groudon was able to reach the Fire Punch, and now it's down to our Tapu Koko. Can we win this game with Tapu Koko? Yes, we can, because the opponent decides to forfeit. But also, Iron Head would just be neutral, and I'm fairly certain we would have been able to reach the Dazzling Gleam in time, so this is great for us. Speaking of this, great for us, we're going to have a Nihilego coming in, but now, sadly, we're going to have the worst possible Pokemon to face for this team. It is going to be the Landorus. Landorus is going to be able to resist the fast move here, going to have super effective damage against all our Pokemon in the back, and they're even running the Earthquake here against me right now, which is really bad for me, because usually they're on Stone Edge and Superpower, which makes the matchup a little bit easier for the Groudon, but with the Earthquake as a potential move here, it is really not nice. I'm going to be able to go ahead and use another shield against the opponent, which is nice, but the Earthquake comes through again. I'm forced to go for a Fire Punch, but they're going to swap out into their Rayquaza, allowing me to go into my Tapu Koko, and Tapu Koko can resist those drawing type moves, and this is going to be amazing for us as the Breaking Strike comes through. I can overfarm by quite a bit here right now, and we're going to see Breaking Swipe going to not do enough damage to knock us out. I can go to 100 energy. Dazzling Gleam is coming their way, and this Dazzling Gleam going to one-shot the opponent's Rayquaza. In comes the Nihilego. I sadly cannot get to another move, but where does Nihilego want to go here right now? And they swap into the Landorus, and I was able to catch the Earthquake here right now onto my Groudon. Easily going to knock me out, but now they're going to have a Nihilego against the Dialga, and even though they have a shield advantage, there would have been nothing that they can do. Well, let's take a look at the next game. We're going to have a Giratina in the lead. This is fine for us. We can go ahead and go for a Precious Blade here right now. We just have to hit one of them. and then we're going to be fine. Basically, I'm just going to spam Precious Blade until I'm going to be able to hit Precious Blade myself there. So we can just let it go and just use a shield here for the opponent's Shadow Ball. Another Precious Blade is all it takes to hopefully get the damage onto them. Let's see what they're gonna do here. They're going to let this move go through, and like this, the opponent is low enough that even our Tapu Koko can farm down after a little bit of Dragon Breath damage here if they want to swap out. And they want to swap out. They want to swap out into an Excadrill, and this is going to be awkward because now the opponent is going to have a perfect hard counter matchup against me. I will be able to go for Dracomedia still, which is a guaranteed shield for them. Like, you win the 0 shield as a Dialga against Excadrill going straight for the Dracomedia, but still, you're going to be forced to use a shield here because Tapu Koko has nothing to do against an Excadrill. But luckily, we will be able to win CMP here, and the Fire Punch is going to be all it takes to knock them out. And now it's down to Zacian against Tapu Koko. Can Tapu Koko take this game home? Let's take a look at this. We're going to see the Play Rough coming through, which is going to be the worst possible one. And I'm gonna go ahead and try to go for the charge move, but it's so sad to be fair. I had to try to get to a Dazzling Beam against the opponent Zacian. I should have thrown earlier, but like this, the opponent can take a Thunderbolt, and this was a huge misplay by me to be fair. But like this, the opponent still gonna go for a charge move, going to be the close combat, and I am now going to not be able to farm down. I feel like if I went for a Dazzling Beam earlier, I would have been able to win this game, but like this, sadly, just not enough damage onto the opponent. Let's take a look at the next game. Dialga lead. This is very nice for me, but they're going to swap out immediately into their Zacian, which is fine. We can go ahead, go for a Precious Blade, trying to get the shield from the opponent. We're going to be able to get the shield from the opponent as the Tapu Koko is coming in right now. This will be very decent for us as the Play Rough is coming through, and we can try to go for another charge move, but no, they're going to go for the charge move before I can even reach it. It's going to be another Play Rough, so they should be kinda out of energy. I have at least a shield advantage right now, but I will be able to go into my Groudon right now and go for the Precious Blade immediately. This should get a knockout against the opponent, hopefully. Let's see. It's going to be enough, and we will see the final Pokemon going to be another Landorus. And you see already, this is going to be a tough one right now, because we only have Fire Punch left, and if we swap out into our Dialga, they're gonna go for a charge move, and they still have their own Dialga. And this definitely does not work out well for me. I'm going to be able to use a shield against the Stone Edge here, which is not ideal either. I wish they would have went for their debuffing move, but they of course don't. But I will be able to get a guaranteed shield against the opponent here right now, which is amazing because now the opponent is shieldless. And I'm just waiting for them to throw, as now I will be able to swap out into my own Dialga. They don't knock me out here. I can use the shield. But what I just did is I got some energy advantage onto my Dialga, which allows me to outspeed them to the Dracomedia, and I think they also realize it right now as well, and they decide to forfeit, so good game there. But this was my game there. We're going to see now the next opponent. Having a Kyogre in the lead, of course, is a little bit tricky, but they're going to swap out into the Xerneas. It's very likely that they're going to have a Zacian in the back lurking around. I'm waiting for them to throw a move, but hopefully it's a close combat so we can knock them out afterwards. No, it's going to be the Moonblast, and we again didn't get the attack drop, which is kind of wild for me. Usually I always get them, but now we can go for another Iron Head here right now that's going to get the knockout or shield advantage, and I'm taking the shield advantage for sure, because now I will be able to take this move from the opponent, and I'm also going to be able to farm down with my Groudon, which is going to be amazing for me as they're going to go for another charge move here. It's going to be the Moonblast, and it's going to be fine for us as we can now get to another charge move against the opponent's Kyogre, and we should be able to put them into farm down range for our Tapu Koko in the back. Let's take a look at this. They're going to swap out into their own Zacian, as I will be able to go ahead and go for hopefully a Dazzling Beam, but I make a huge mistake here right now. I just wanted to have perfect fast move timing, which did not really work out for the Volt Switch energy gain here, so I wasted a ton of energy by not throwing a little bit earlier. And like this as well, I will not be able to reach another Thunderbolt very soon, as you're going to see, as I will be able to now shield this move up from the opponent. It's going to be a Wild Charge. Clever play by them. I should have swapped out earlier here. I should have swapped out immediately, basically there. But they can go for another Play Rough. It doesn't knock me out. I swap out, and I was just so close to getting a Thunderbolt off here right now. And if I just had my energy management done a little bit better, I would have been able to get to this Thunderbolt, though this was my own mistake by, for sure to lose this game. But we can now move on into the final game of today's video. If you enjoyed the content with Tapu Koko, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. We are getting closer to the 60,000 subscribers, which is really cool to see, so thanks all so much for the support. Subscribing to the channel is of course free, and you just have to scroll down and hit that button. But let's take a look here at the Groudon matchup. This is the one thing why I really wish that I would get a better Groudon than this. I have actually three or four of those Groudons that are all 98%. I think I even throw some away already, that are all had 14 attack. I literally just only get this IV spread. If I just got a 15 attack variant, I would have been so happy. But like this, it's going to be a little bit tricky. We're going to see the opponent going for a Moonblast here right now. And of course, here we go, there is our 10% chance that we have every game, or like every video. We're always gonna get the Moonblast debuff somewhere. If people run Moonblast against me, they're always gonna get the debuff somewhere, and like it's just a meme nowadays on my channel, to be fair, so yeah. We're going to see now the Dragonite coming in right now, which is a little bit awkward because we're going to have to go for a Precious Blade against them, doing some decent damage, but actually this works out fairly well as they are now in Thunderbolt range. And also, I will be able to take a move here right now, and they're going to be forced to go for a superpower as the Dragon Claw doesn't do too much damage. I will be able to overfarm by a lot, and they go for another superpower as I can now go for the knockout against the opponent. And they will take this one for sure. But the floor just is already super low. I can go for another Thunderbolt, force the shield from the opponent here, and there is not a lot that they can do. They tried to go for the full farm down, didn't work out, and we will be able to win this final game for today's video. If you enjoyed it, of course, feel free to leave a like, but also check out the videos on the screen, and I'll see you then. Bye bye!